Okay, so welcome to the 5th episode of Sewtopia and Friends. And I just wanted to quickly mention to our viewers/listeners that we are recording this on middle of May 20th. So if you guys are listening to this, you're like, oh my gosh, it could be in June that you're listening to this or watching this. So just know that we're recording mid-May and things have changed quite drastically, or not, we don't know. But anyways, welcome to Sewtopia and Friends. I'm Amy Newbold, owner of Sewtopia, and this is Megan Callahan. She is my Burt. We gotta find another one.
I know, we'll find another. I just didn't have the creative juices to find another couple today.
Burt, Ernie, Thelma, Louise?
No, because they drive off a cliff in the end.
Yeah.
Sorry if that's a spoiler for anybody.
Yeah, I kind of don't want to drive off.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
So we started this video chat show to just check in with friends in the industry, from like manufacturers to shop owners to designers. And so I thought it would just be interesting because everybody's like having a stay-at-home order. But now that we're recording May 20th, that has changed drastically in some states. So we're hanging out with Holly today of Bijou Lovely. Megan, did you want to take this part?
You're stealing my bit.
I'm sorry.
I mean, come on. I need to start putting like Amy and then Megan. No.
Yes.
So we're hanging out with Holly Degroot, better known as Bijou Lovely, who is a crafty jack of all trades. I know because I looked at her Instagram today, with an excellent styling eye that would make any Instagram influencer jealous. Holly is a shop owner, quilt pattern designer, and photographer in Michigan's Upper Peninsula, and a fabric designer for Cloud9 Fabrics, just to name a few of her things.
Holly.
We'll have more questions about those later because I dug back to like 2012.
Oh man, yeah. My Instagram has like, you can go back a lot.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I don't know when I got Instagram, but definitely later than 2012. So it's like you can even see the first QuiltCon on there, and it's fun. It's fun to look back though and look at people's kind of journey.
And how bad the pictures were back then,
and the edged filters that we all used. Nashville, was that one of them? Like, yeah, I remember that filter. Those were the days.
Well, I was trying to think, Holly, how long have we known each other?
I don't know. I was trying to figure out where we met, and I don't remember.
I don't either.
Did you go to that sewing summit?
Yes.
I think maybe that. Yeah.
But the first sewing summit or the?
Yeah, the first one.
Okay, so for viewers and listeners, if you don't know, Amy Ellis and Aaron Singleton, I don't even know what year, did Sewing Summit. And I think it was like the first one, and this will date us. This was like back in the Flickr days. They had a sewing conference. I would probably say, I can probably confidently say that was probably the first one. 99.9%.
I think it was. Yeah.
I'm looking at Megan, like, to confirm. It's
pre my days going back to like sewing and quilting and social media. Like I was really on
like,
Flickr.
Everybody went to that because it was the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was the first one, and it was held in Salt Lake. And I think that's a lot. Like I met a lot of people there. I think that's where I met Jen. That's where I met Heinrich. That's where I guess I met Holly.
I think so. Yeah. Otherwise, it was like a quilt market, but I don't remember specifically.
Well, I do have some photos if you want to see them now. It's not the Explain the Gram photo, but it was just a few. So hold on one second. Let me get them ready.
I'm excited to see this.
While Megan is getting that ready, so we ask each guest, the first question we ask is, what is their quarantine cocktail or drink? Because last episode, Lizzie was like, hey, it's water. And Jackie had coffee and rum, and
That's good.
yeah, so Melody has a paper plane. So yeah, so Holly, what is your quarantine cocktail?
So it's basically it's called a sparkling greyhound, but it's just vodka, lime juice, grapefruit juice, and then like club soda or LaCroix, something like that. And then you can sweeten it with like agave or honey.
Okay, so I'm gonna mix it while we're kind of chatting.
That sounds delicious. Well, I was going to bring up this photo first. I feel like this was in chronological order. This would be the earliest, which I think is this little lovely.
Where was that?
That was QuiltCon. Because that's when I dressed up like Michael Jackson.
Okay.
This was the 80s party at QuiltCon in 2013.
2013. So
you definitely knew each other at this point.
Wow.
So that's my
years, Holly.
That's my first one that I found.
I feel like we knew each other before that though, but I'm not sure.
I think you guys are right when you say that you met at Sewing Summit. Okay, here's the second one, which, you know, this is different hairstyles for Amy. Yeah. Okay, let's see here. Here's another one. This is Holly looking cute and Amy being Amy.
Oh yeah, that was at Quilt Market at some point, I think.
Yep, the window booth.
Yeah.
That's from 2015. So that's like the first like pictorial evidence of your friendship. So I would say Sewing Summit's probably a good educated guess.
Yeah. And I think just Flickr and all those things. I don't remember where we met specifically, but
that is so funny. Yeah, because I want to say Sewing Summit, but Sewing Summit happened so long ago that I don't even know.
Was that like 2011 or something? 2012?
No. Are you gonna research it, Megan?
I will look. Your personal. Hey Google. No, just kidding.
Okay, I have mixed my drink. I am a little.
I hope you like it.
Now, what are your honest thoughts on grapefruit juice, Amy?
I'm not a fan.
Maybe you need more honey.
I'm not a fan of grapefruit juice. Is the thing.
Okay.
That's the thing. Yeah, I need more.
Kind of tastes like squirt or something like that. Like
yes.
I know I would love it. Like, so like that sounds delicious to me. I love a Greyhound and add sparkle. That sounds delicious.
Yeah. So interesting. This is actually.
Oh, look at this! I looked up Sewing Summit 2011, and I found a blog post by Bijou Lovely.
Oh, awesome. I wonder if there's a picture of us together.
There's some pictures on here. Oh, I should just share my screen. Let's see here. Now I have to find the Zoom tab. Share screen.
On my old blog when I actually used to write one.
I know everybody.
Does anybody read blogs anymore though? Like, I'm just curious.
Oh my gosh, look at that.
So long ago.
So long ago. What? Oh, that's in front of Material Girls. Yep.
Look at, do you see the Curls MT font there on the door?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It was like a bus thing. Yeah. Like
yeah, here's the bus.
All the shops. Yeah.
Pine Needles.
Mm-hmm.
Did you go to that?
No.
On the tour?
No, because I was local.
That's fair.
So, yeah, that shop is no longer with us.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Wow, these pictures are so bad. I don't remember.
It says Jess's improv class.
There was a link, so she probably had a blog. I don't remember.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Look at that.
Oh my gosh.
Look at that.
So funny.
Hey Pork Chop, Jenny Baker, Erin Singleton, Megan,
Amanda.
And oh, she's gonna kill me. Who's in between Hey Pork Chop and
Angela? I can't remember what her last name is, but Angela, or what her? I don't remember what it is.
Who was filming the fridge? Who's?
No? That's Ashley, but that's not.
Oh
her.
yeah. Okay, no. I was like, I remember old Instagram handles. So that looks like that might have been the first.
I feel like that was probably where we met.
Yeah.
Wow, Megan. That's a lot of tabs you have open there.
I don't need your judgment, Amy. So, funnily enough, I actually sent this text to some friends today of, let's see here. I have to find all the pictures because it says, what quarantine bread are you? Okay, so, and I was definitely a particular bread, but there was one attribute from another bread that I definitely was. And so like, if you're the no need bread, you still use your parents' Netflix login. You currently and will forever have over 40 tabs open on your web browser. That I agree with. And once this loaf is done, you'll post a pic of it onto IG and go back to ordering seamless for every meal. So I have one attribute from No Knead Bread, but I was definitely a banana bread, which is a shelter-in-place order. It feels like something you've been training for your entire life. No work, no pants, no problem. You think that the body indentation you've left permanently in your couch just gives it personality. I mean, some of those are true. I don't think I sit on the couch that much, but
We should want to know what the other options are.
Yeah, we should probably post it on our like YouTube notes.
I know. I found it on, let's see here, on, this is from Overheard LA, which is a particularly funny Instagram profile. So they have like an Overheard New York and just different cities, and each of them is just very that city. And I highly enjoy that Instagram account because it's very representational of LA and the ridiculousness sometimes that can come out of it. So yeah, maybe I'll shoot those over.
Yeah. We'll post that on our YouTube notes and our
I know there's definitely, and though, I mean, now these types of breads may not be for everybody. And so as I sent to another friend, because I sent this to them, and then she's like, none of these breads apply to me. And I was like, be your own bread. Just don't be fruitcake. And that, I think that's a good mantra.
It is a good mantra. So Holly, tell us a little bit about your background and your family.
So background as far as like, how far do you want to be back?
No, that's I know it's like kind of funny because we're like, so let's go back to, I guess, sewing, quilting, all that fun stuff.
Well, I'm curious too, like kind of educational background, because I feel like you have all these skills with photography and like even computers and quilt design. And did you have any formal education, or is this just stuff that you picked up over the way?
Not really. So I went to school for biomedical engineering and did that for like 10 years. And kind of just did sewing on the side for fun. It's a good like creative outlet. But like, I feel like those don't sound related, like engineering and, design and stuff. But I feel like it really does apply a lot. Like in my job, I used Illustrator all the time because I like design user interfaces for medical equipment. So yeah, a lot of the skills that I had there just kind of like switched over really easily to do more like quilt pattern design and that kind of stuff. I use the same stuff. So yeah, I mean, I was born and raised in Iron Mountain, Michigan, which is where I am now again. And I have a husband, Adam, and a little dog, Jackson, who used to be featured in my Instagram a lot, but he doesn't really like pictures, so it's hard to get him.
I was wondering, I didn't want to ask because I know he hasn't been on there a lot, but I was like,
he just like runs away.
Okay, so. I was like, well, here's her little doggy and he's so cute, but I didn't obviously.
Doesn't come to the shop because he barks at everybody.
Yeah, he's like a birdie.
Yeah. So
I have a Chloe. She's sitting over there right now. She's being
quiet.
Wish
she didn't bark at everyone because then he would like be a shop dog and it'd be cute.
Yeah. But he needs to protect you.
Yeah. From everyone, especially like the mailman. So.
And now I have a question because again, not to be a creeper, but I did look through your entire Instagram today.
That must have taken you forever. Although I feel like recently, like in the recent past, I'm not very good at posting. So.
Well, and it's like, and I've been following you for quite a while, so it's more of I had to like go back just to the bits before I had Instagram. And so one of them was like, so you met your husband. Is he your high school sweetheart?
I don't know if you can really call him that. We met in high school. We were like really close friends in high school. Mm-hmm. And then like pretty much right after he graduated from high school, we started dating. And then we ended up going to the same college, not because we were dating, which was like, I was adamant about that when I was in high school, right? But yeah, so we ended up going to the same college. And then, just we dated for like 8 years or something before we got married. And we've been married for like 10 years now. So like half of our life.
Yeah.
I remember when Holly made the jump from going corporate to going to her shop, and it wasn't
that long before you quit. I think it was around the same time.
Yeah, it was about the same time because I remember I had like a slew of people that I would call and be like, hey, I'm doing this crazy thing, and they're either like, yay, or what the hell were you thinking, or
which was I?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I think Holly was more like, It's scary, but congratulations.
Yeah. I was like, I'm not very good at quitting things. Like, I just don't quit. And so, like, I was working for a company, like, I was working from home for like around 7 years, I think it ended up being, because we lived in like the Chicago area, and I worked for the company there. But then when we decided to move home, I could work from home. So I worked from home, but it was like I had to report to our office in Boston then instead of like the Chicago people. And so I was traveling back and forth to Boston all the time, and just the traveling got really old after a while. So I was like, okay, I need to be done with this if we're going to open the store, because I can't do both. But so my husband was like, okay, you're going there. Like, what are you going to say to quit? And I was like, I have no idea. Like, so he made me like, he was kind of not forced me to do it, but like I had been talking about it and just didn't know how to do it. So
he gave you a gentle shove, a gentle shove in the right direction.
We decided that we're going to do it then, and it was terrifying, but.
It was terrifying. And then she went through this epic remodel of her building.
Yeah, well, actually, we did that kind of like while I was still working, because we knew it was coming. So yeah, it was like nights and weekends. The building that my shop is in was built in 1889.
Wow. And
it was an old train station. So it was like the floor was kind of falling in when we moved in, literally. So yeah, it took about a year to remodel it, and we did all of it, or most of it, by ourselves.
Yeah.
Aside from like electrical work and that kind of stuff. But.
So how long has the shop been open now?
3 years, I think, technically, since like, I think we opened like in late April, early May in 2017.
And was it kind of like started out as a photography studio as well? Because I know the retail side was pretty small, but
yeah, kind of like, so I needed a space. I have a photography business, and so I needed a space to like have my clients come in for like ordering sessions and that type of thing. That was kind of like my main priority as far as like a space, because people were coming to my house to do that, and it was uncomfortable. So I needed a space, and it was like, well, if I'm going to pay rent somewhere or like buy a building somewhere, like maybe I can do two things with it at once. So we mostly talked about workshops. I didn't know anyone here that was creative at all. And so it was like, wouldn't it be nice to have a place to like have people come in and like actually have that community that like I know in a big city that you have, just with like a fabric store or whatever. Like I feel like there's places to go when you're like to be creative. So we kind of started with the workshop part first. But then the problem is we live in a small town, so there's nowhere to buy materials if you want to do workshops. So it was like, okay, well, if I have workshops, I need to sell materials for the workshops at least. So then it kind of like evolved into selling some fabric. And then once we had the store open, like the brick and mortar store, it was like people would come in here and not be creative at all and not want to sew. And they're like, what can I buy? It's like, well, okay, I need something for these people to buy when they come in. So we've kind of evolved into more of like, we sell fabric and some craft supplies, but we also are a gift shop. We sell a lot of like jewelry, candles, plants, all kinds of different stuff. What?
Stationery.
Yeah.
We would shop there. We would totally shop there. Yeah.
For sure.
I have no doubt.
Nobody's shopping here right now, but
well, so that leads me to my next question. Okay, so we're now like mid-May. Okay, so what is your stay-at-home order?
Yeah.
What is like the shop and how's that going and all that fun stuff?
So I live in Michigan, so I think we actually had the most strict stay-at-home order, I think I read. But now they've kind of lifted, at least in our region. So I live in the UP of Michigan, Upper Peninsula, which is like, the other half of Michigan that everybody forgets about, the north half. And so in the UP, I think we've had like a total of 100 cases of COVID total.
Okay.
And in our county, I think it's been 5 total, and like the number has not changed in weeks. So they kind of started just this week. There was like an announcement saying that our region can open back up again, at least for retail, restaurants, and like bars are in it, which I don't understand. But so yeah, So we're opening on Friday.
So wait, you got that notice, what, yesterday?
I think it was Monday night, or like Monday afternoon,
Uh-huh.
that we can open starting Friday.
Okay.
Or like technically, Friday at midnight or whatever, but
so what is that like? So this is an interesting question, okay? Because I'm online only, so like I don't have any walk-in customers. So, but we had some local customers that would be like, "Hey, can I just come and pick up my order?" And I was like, "Yeah, definitely there's a local pickup option." But I shut that down mid-March because I was just like, I just don't want you to risk yourself, and I don't want you to risk me, right? So my question to you is, what is your strategy for, even though cases are low in your area, like what is your strategy as a shop, or does the government help you? What does that work?
Yeah, so I mean, I think it's hard because I feel like a lot of it you're just supposed to figure out yourself.
Mm-hmm.
My husband works for a manufacturing company here and is like very involved in the day-to-day, like what are we doing to protect our workers. So I think that's helpful for me because he kind of helps me strategize for the shop what to do.
Mm-hmm.
There were like a couple, I guess, regulations that they require, I think, for, like, it says retail can open, but you have to have, I think it's like for every 1,000 square feet, you can only have 4 customers. So for us, I think that's like around 6 people in the shop at one time. So I guess
Is
we're
that
going to
including
try to,
your, is
no,
that
it's
including
not
yourself?
including employees.
Oh, okay.
And you're supposed to limit the amount of employees. So like to the least amount that's really feasible. We've been only having me and one other person in here every day, kind of like alternating employees so that there's never like too many people in here at one time. So I think we'll just keep that for now, like just me and one other person, which is, I guess, usually what we have in here anyway. So that shouldn't be that big of a deal. But we need to have a lot of like signs on the doors and stuff reminding people of social distancing and like that they're legally required to wear a mask. Although I don't really think we can enforce that. I think they're leaving it up to you to be able to enforce that, but I feel like here the masks have become it's been like a political issue more than anything, and so people are like refusing to wear masks. So I don't, like, we will be wearing masks and recommend that people wear masks, but I don't really feel comfortable telling people they can't come in if they don't have a mask. So
it seems like a lot of responsibility to put on a small business order to enforce that. It's like they're like, it's up to you if you want to have people wear masks, but then how do you enforce that if you, I mean, I don't think you're going to get
like making people upset. I don't think we really do. So I mean,
and as we've seen in the news, it could get quite serious, and it's not something that I would.
So I think we're just going to put on the door that it's recommended that you wear a mask, and then that go from there.
Hey, we'll show you how to make one.
Oh yeah, and we do sell masks now, so like you can buy them here too. I was thinking about like we can't do workshops, I think, right now because I don't know how you would do a workshop and stay 6 feet away from everyone, really. Yeah. But it'd be like, oh, we could do a mask workshop at some point, like even if it's just like virtual or something. But I mean, I've done like a YouTube video showing people how to make masks, so they could really just watch that. But,
and while we're on the subject of masks, we're going to skip a couple questions ahead, but you have a mask design. Did you want to tell us a little bit about it?
Sure. Yeah. So we, I guess.
You could totally leave the camera and go grab some if you want to.
Sure. I can go find it.
No, I feel like I might have one of hers too. I'll go grab it.
Okay, go grab it. And I will keep everybody else entertained. So this drink is getting good.
Well, so this isn't the kind in the video, but it's really close. These are the ones that we sell.
Megan went to grab hers because gosh, there's so much feelings around mask.
Yeah.
There's so much feelings.
I never knew. So like kind of part of how our business has pivoted since this whole thing started was, we couldn't be open And obviously we had online orders and stuff, but for a while it was like, I have no idea how I can keep my employees employed when they can't be working here. Like, because for a while our stay-at-home order was basically no one outside of, if you're non-essential, like you cannot have employees come to your store. That was like the rule. So I ended up doing a fundraiser for healthcare workers. So we ended up employing my employees to work from home making masks, and then we donated them to local hospitals. So I want to say it was like probably at least a month where like my employees were just simply doing that for their normal hours, which is around, like 2 of them work 20 hours a week about, and then I have a couple more that work a little bit less. So they just use their hours to make masks.
Oh, wow.
Instead of working in the shop. But
how many masks do you think that like you and your employees have produced?
I don't want to count. So they were making those. And then my mom and I were actually making masks for a few local manufacturing facilities, because they are essential and couldn't get masks, but needed masks in order to stay open. So like my mom and I have probably made, I don't know, almost 2,000.
Wow.
And then my employees probably made another like 2,000.
Holy cow.
And that's using the pattern.
Well, so that pattern was the pattern we used for the healthcare worker masks. And then this pattern is super similar. It's just that we use the Essex for these. And so it's a little bit thicker. So the top dart kind of gets uncomfortable on your nose. So it's basically the same. It's just made a little bit different. So it's flat up there.
Okay.
You basically just sew the dart inside out so that it's hidden.
Yeah, because I would say I tested a few patterns and I thought this one was the quickest. Like it was
and that was kind
the
of
fastest.
the point, was just like, how can we make the fastest masks possible? So my husband is a director of operations at this manufacturing facility. So like that's what he does all day, is like how to make things fast and efficient and whatever. So we kind of worked through it together and tried to make it like the quickest you could possibly make, and also with the least amount of fabric waste.
Yeah. I mean, because some of the other ones we tried out a few different ones at Sewtopia just to kind of see, like, and all it's so preferential for the person and what they're making it for. Like I would probably make these masks for this people, but a totally different type of mask for these people, just kind of based on how many do I need to churn out, or which one do I want to wear. And it's still, I tried out several different patterns and they're depressing to make, but I thought, it's kind of a downer.
I could never, we made, like almost 2,000 or whatever it was. I didn't actually count after a certain point, but it's like, I could never do that on a daily basis. Like,
production lines sewing is something totally different. Like I feel like so many sewers who are maybe even in the industry now, or maybe started out, they started out as kind of hobby sewers, or they did craft fairs. So they were doing kind of a type of assembly line sewing, but it was still something that they were creating and selling as their own personal good. It's something different than production for the masses and, the depressing aspect of it. It's just, I call it, whenever I have to start making masks again, like I've made them a few different rounds of them now. And Amy knows when she talks to me that day, I call it my mask mood. And for like a whole day, I'm just super cranky about it and I'm just depressed. And then like the next day, it's more like, okay, I'm chugging away at this. But the first day is always a really dark day.
When we were making them for this local company, they needed like 600-ish in a week. And so it was like, okay, that means that we have to make, like 75 a day, I think it was, or something. And that was like including Saturday and Sunday.
Wow.
And so it was like, I don't know. It was 2 of us making them together. I think I was probably sewing for like 10 hours a day. It was like,
and you start breaking it down. You're like, okay, if I can make one mask in 10 minutes or, whatever. And then you're like, how long am I going to have to do this to get to our goal?
So then we kind of, after that, I kind of said, okay, I can't do this amount in this amount of time anymore. Like I just will not survive. I just can't do it. So then we kind of scaled back and then we were doing it like 3 days a week, which was much more reasonable. Like having 2 days where you don't have to sew would be great in the middle of that. So and then we now we're just making them for the shop. So it's a lot more like, we can sew some today and we can easily sew like 50 in 6-7 hours.
Oh man.
And just, it's not a big deal anymore, but
yeah, you're like, I don't even need to look at you have it memorized.
Yeah, I mean, now when we're sewing 50, it's like, oh, this isn't bad. Like,
yeah,
we'll be
that
done
seems nice. That's a good day. That's a break.
Yeah.
I don't like, I think, just trolling on Instagram and all that fun, when you have time as like a shop owner or whatnot, I think it's really hard. I have never seen someone saying, "Yay, I'm making masks today."
Ooh, yeah, it's good. That was just a very excited comment. Your audio.
Your audio went crazy.
No, I don't think anyone's excited about it.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's fun. It's not.
But this breaks us into another question segue. Now we're going to bump up one, which is, we know that Amy knows this, especially that owning a shop is a ton of work. And outside of, what's going on in making masks, do you still find time for your own creative work?
Well, not really. No. I mean, I feel like since I've owned a shop, I like barely have sewed anything, which is sad. I don't know. But I do feel like making the masks has kind of reminded me like, oh, I don't like this kind of sewing, but I actually like sewing. I haven't sewn really in like a really long time. So I've got like, I cut out a shirt. I'm gonna make myself a shirt now.
It is May.
Huh? Yeah. Oh yeah, it's me made May.
Me made May.
Yeah.
Say that 10 times fast.
So I'm gonna make a shirt, and I don't know, maybe I'll start sewing again.
Maybe this is the kick in the pants that you needed.
I don't know.
Amy hasn't made masks.
No.
She sourced it out. It's okay though. You don't have to. It was just, she's like, I don't have time. And I was like, I'm going to make you guys some masks and send them to you, because she just didn't have time.
Yeah. I feel like there's this weird like guilt associated with the masks. Like, oh, I can sew. I should make masks. Like, no, you shouldn't. If you don't want to, don't. Like, and also don't feel like you have to give them away every time. Like, your time is valuable. Like, I don't know.
There's that's why I always have a bad mood the first day, because there's even guilt associated with it. There's just this guilt, like, this is, is this what we've been training for our whole lives? I don't know, but it's just the emotional and the that goes along with it is a whole different story.
I feel like once we started making a lot of masks, it was one day that we weren't making masks, and I sort of felt bad, like, oh, I should make some, and I was like, stop it. You cannot save the world like by yourself. This is dumb. Like, just don't. So, you just have to like get rid of the guilt.
Like on our first episode when we were talking to Kelly, and Megan obviously was there because Megan's always there with me. Like, I think it's just like she and Megan touched base on this. It's like the CDC says, "Hey, wear masks." They say this is how you make masks, but they don't say who's going to make your mask. You know what I mean? Like, and so.
Yeah, they give you a few pieces to a large puzzle, and you're kind of like, okay, now what?
Fill in the gaps, like, so I feel like, and then I also think like, we're sourcing fabrics, we're sourcing elastic. I'm like, oh my gosh, elastic goes, I don't even know how you sourced how much elastic you were using.
We didn't use a lot. Like, we ended up finding a place to buy twill tape by like 720 yard spools. Wow. And I bought like 8,000 yards of twill tape, and I was like, oh, like, this is gonna last me forever. Like, am I crazy to buy this much? I went through it, and like, I had to buy the same amount like a week later. So we finally do have elastic now, but people were asking for elastic. It was like, I don't even have time to call you back because my answer is going to be no. And like, for a long time, it was just me, like nobody else could work here. So I was trying to fulfill all the online orders and also make masks and also like do my normal work. So I was working like 16-hour days.
Yes.
It was ridiculous. Like, I literally would wake up, work until I went to bed, and then do it all over the night.
I think online fabric stores, even if they have a brick and mortar attached to it, they've seen this huge rise in business, but without the staff to accommodate it at all.
Yeah. Eventually it was like, so you could, the way the order was written, it was like you could deem someone essential to your business so that like you could have somebody come in, and it was like to perform daily operations or whatever. So I finally like Laura, my employee that has been with me for like the past 3 years, was like, okay, I need you to start coming in and helping me cut orders. Like I cannot do this anymore by myself. So she ended up coming in, and then, you know, eventually they kind of relaxed it so that if, you know, you were allowed to do curbside and you were allowed to have people that were fulfilling orders. So then I could just like have other, you know, my other staff come in too. But
yeah, it's tough.
for a while, it's hard. Yeah.
I think it's like, it's tough because all the shop owners I have talked to, you know, like that they're just like, it's been only me for X number of weeks doing everything from getting the mail, cutting the fabric, doing the orders, shipping, invoicing, marketing. And then there's like a time where I was like, I don't want to market anything, because if I market something, then it sells out and you're like, and then you're just buried again, you know, you're just like,
I know, it's like you of course want to have sales, but at the same time, like you can't even handle it. Like, so you just don't, I mean, I haven't posted anything on Instagram aside from like 2 things in a while.
yeah.
I'm bad at posting on Instagram anyway, but yeah.
So anyways, let's move on.
Let's skip to a different one. I think I'm adjusting the questions a little bit. So, this is Amy's question though, about the habit. I think you should ask that one, Amy, because you can divulge your bad habit.
Okay. So as a shop owner, do you have a bad habit? And it could be anything from like when you're processing an order, when you like, I was thinking some of the bad habits, it kind of applies to sewing sometimes, you know, like my bad habit that I do that I have to curb is putting a pin in my mouth. So like I put a pin in my mouth. So when I'm measuring fabric, you know, and measuring so many yards, because people are buying yardage, they're not just buying, oh, I need to make a quilt. They're buying yardage of like solids. So I have a pin that I put in my mouth and measure from yard to yard, like if I have to cut 7 yards, you know, but I can also see like somebody leaving the rotary blade open, you know what I mean? So I was like, Holly, do you have a bad habit in the shop? And do your employees, like, you tell employees don't do this, but you end up doing it yourself?
There's one more that Amy has. Like Amy's gonna have to stop putting pins in her mouth. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
I don't do that.
Yeah. I mean, now not only with like the chance of inhaling your pin, which has totally happened. I've seen x-rays of this. Maybe it's a sewing urban legend, but I've seen an x-ray.
Yeah. I think as a shop, like, yes, I do it. But at home, I also, when I'm sewing, like, so even if it's not in the shop, like even at home, even though you're not sewing, like we used to back in like Flickr days.
So one thing that I do, and I like teach people in workshops, like how to cut fabric properly, right? Like you don't cross your arm with the blade. I do that all the time. I'm like, just don't do what I do.
So you're like holding and going like this?
I don't know. If it's just like on the edge and I just want to like rip it up, and then, you know, I don't know. I do that all the time. But then also in the shop specifically, like I'll cut something that we'll need to use for some reason or whatever. And like, if the girls do that, it's like, oh, take it out of inventory so that it's like not wrong.
Yep.
But I forget a lot. Or like I'll just take a thing of thread to use for whatever thing, and it's like I don't have time right at that second to take it out of stock. So then it's always my fault really when the numbers are messed up, because they do a great job at it and I forget every time.
So Holly needs like a reconciliation sheet attached to her, and Amy needs like a magnetic wrist pin cushion.
Yep.
Yes.
The other day, so I don't usually fulfill the orders, not very often. So the other day there was like a pickup order and I was here and it was like, I think everybody else had left for the day, but I was just we have like a drop box outside that we're using for like our curbside pickup. So I was like grabbing the stuff to put in the box. And so when they do it, you know, they like are very careful to make sure that they're grabbing the right items. And I did not do that and put the wrong notebooks in the box. And I realized it later, like I sent the girl a message saying, I'm pretty sure I messed up your order. If you want those, like I gave her notebooks it was more notebooks than what she ordered.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, if you're good with it, I'm good with it. Like, but if you want to return it for the ones you actually bought, like that's fine too. I'll do it tomorrow. Like, I'm not good at picking the orders.
Oh, okay. That's really funny.
I will say one of Amy's, it's not, well, no, it is a bad habit. Sometimes Amy likes to take the lid off of her coffee
Oh,
and just leave it around.
yeah.
It
That's
makes me
fabric.
extremely nervous.
That's why we have like we have like a kitchen station back there.
Yeah, it tends to happen at events, you know, when we have like a lot of access to coffee, when we have the coffee bar all day or whatever. And yes, Amy knows.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think in the time that I have left my coffee lid open, I think a couple weeks ago, I had a major catastrophe. And I was cutting Stellar by Rashida for Ruby Star. And I had all the fat quarter bundles lined up. And I had my coffee right there. And then I was getting a bolt. And so I chucked the bolt onto the cutting table, which in turn just knocked the coffee over. All of Stellar, all of that beautiful like moon fabric started soaking up the coffee.
Oh no.
We're here for you. And then I was like, no. So I had to cut all of like half of the bundles I had to recut. And I was like, and then I messaged Megan and she was like, yep.
No, I think we were FaceTiming at some point there. Or yeah, maybe it was Polo. I don't know. There's so many methods of communication these days. But she told me and I was like, I mean, I felt bad for the fabric, but I was like, it's been tempting fate too long.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you have
Did you change now? Do you always have your cap on? The cup?
No. No. Why learn from,
I just put my coffee somewhere else now.
Yeah.
That it's open and it's there. So anyways, okay.
So let's move on. I'm going to skip a couple of the questions.
Okay.
So in our introduction, we described you as a jack of all trades. In Instagram, we've seen that you sew, you knit, stitch, design, illustrate, and do professional photography. So if you could take one craft with you to a deserted island, and let's assume that there's a power source there, which one would you take?
Ooh, that's a good question.
That is a good question.
I mean, on an island, I feel like photography would be pretty useful.
But would that fill your cup?
I don't know. I think it does fill my cup more than other things sometimes. I don't know why. I mean, I really like sewing. I really like knitting, actually. But I feel like all those things lately, I've been sewing masks. But for a while, I haven't really been doing other things. I don't know why. I feel like I just needed a break. But like I said, like now I do want to sew again. So I don't know. But
do you carry any yarn type items in your store?
We have some wool in the gang yarn, not a lot. I would like to carry more yarn, but I feel like we just carry a lot of different things, so it's hard to, if I want to sell more yarn, it's like I have to buy all the yarn to sell that, and then like figure out where to put it, like how to display it. So it's challenging, like adding new categories.
Yeah,
but I would love to add more yarn at some point.
Well, I think photography would definitely document your time on the deserted island.
I don't know. I like photography a lot. Like I feel like even when I'm not doing those other things, like that is always something I'm kind of doing. So yeah.
I started taking like online photography. Like when I think the shop Sewtopia, I don't know, maybe it was just a little after you, Holly, but I swear Sewtopia launched their online like a little after you.
They were around the same time. Yeah.
And so at that point, like when you're on Instagram and you're like taking product shots, you have to make sure that they're the crispiest just kind of pictures. And so I started picking up the camera, the DSLR, started getting lenses, started researching lights. And so then I was like, okay, now I have it locked down to just a setting. So it's not that hard, but still I'm like, man, it's a complicated hobby. It's a very technical hobby, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I like taking pictures of people. Like I I mean, I guess I used to like taking pictures of fabric and that kind of thing. I think that's where my interest in photography started, but I don't know. I like taking pictures of people. It's fun.
Yeah. So awesome. Okay, so what are you currently obsessed with besides work?
No, do the question above it first.
What new skill would you like
Yeah.
to add to your crafty arsenal?
What's a new skill?
I really want to try punch needle. I got the stuff. I mean, it's just sitting in my like house waiting.
I think Amy got the stuff too, right?
I got the book. I don't have the yarn.
I need like the loom. I have all the things, but not the loom yet.
I don't have the punch needle thing.
Oh,
I thought you ordered it.
You can get them on Checker, I think.
I did order it, but they've been back ordered.
I got one. I only have one. I didn't I meant to buy them for the shop, but I was like, oh, I feel like I should try this out. I was thinking maybe I could do it as a workshop. So I always have to like figure it out before I like do it as a workshop. So, but I think I bought that stuff like probably 6 months ago.
Yeah, and our dear friend Marcy calls it carpet art.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
Carpet art. I know, and that's like a friend of mine recently got like certified as an Oxford punch needle instructor. And it's kind of like this whole process you have to go to, and you have to go to the school for it. You know, you like do a little workshop there, and you have like a final project. And I remember she made this gorgeous rug, and I was just like you're gonna walk on that? Like, don't walk on it. But it's you know, it can be something that you just pick up and do. And then for like people who are really going above and beyond, it's definitely a process. So it looks fun though. I mean, it reminds me of like the old school latch hooking. Do you remember latch hooking like way back in the day?
I made like a latch hook rug when I was a kid. I don't think I actually finished it, but I remember doing it like forever and never being done with it.
It was like in those kind of kits from the 80s where you'd get like latch hook, or you'd get like the little linoleum block to carve. I feel like we all had those little like weird kits to do.
I did think of another skill that I want to do too is like jewelry making, like actual metal smithing jewelry making. We've been making earrings and necklaces and that kind of stuff here, but just like getting components and putting them together. But like I think it'd be so cool to learn how to make actual like metal jewelry.
Those are all videos that I enjoy watching.
Yeah, I've been trying to actually find like classes to go to. Like I want to go to like class and learn how to do that, or like a retreat or a workshop or whatever. But I haven't found any that are somewhat local.
I know. I'm wondering even if like a community college or anything like that might have something. My mom did a jewelry making class in college. I remember she still has like the silver ring that she made, and it's like super, super 60s, totally like mid-century-esque. It's a cool ring. Like if my fingers were much, much tinier, I would totally like steal that ring. But alas, I don't think it'll fit on my plump paws. Oh well.
So then going to the next question, what are you currently obsessed with besides work?
Well, I feel like I'm obsessed with CrossFit and I've been obsessed with that for a few years now, but
yeah, I was going to say after the podcast stops recording, Holly, you look very skinny.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So she's fit. So since CrossFit's not open, I'm guessing, are you having to do stuff at home?
Yeah, so one of my best friends owns a CrossFit gym here. So she their gym is closed, but they let us borrow all of their equipment. So my home gym right now is very fancy.
Oh, nice.
But, yeah, so and then she does like online, like tells you what the workout is every day. So and then you like post a picture just to like have accountability. So
I even feel like the body weight workouts that you can do, even if just like with light weights and a ball, like I mean, some of those I'm like barely walking the next day.
Yeah. And I mean, like most of the ones that she posts are that like you might have, like they might have one weight in them. But yeah, we have like a lot of equipment at our house right now just because she let us borrow a lot of stuff. But yeah.
Okay. So here's my next question. If you're going to the said deserted island, you're taking your camera, what gym equipment would you take with you? Which one thing?
One thing. Okay.
I mean, knowing that you could probably source like coconuts or whatever for some weights and
Hey,
you know.
give her ideas.
Okay, sorry.
The dumbbell. That's it. One dumbbell.
Dumbbell?
You need, yeah. Or like a kettlebell. But
A kettlebell would be nice.
Better most times.
Okay, awesome. So what is your go-to comfort food, Mrs. I'm into fitness?
Doesn't mean that she doesn't eat. Just saying.
Oh,
I don't know. We don't eat like bread or anything. So I feel like all comfort food is not exciting.
I don't know, but what food would give you the warm fuzzies? It could be something like strawberries even.
Yeah, I like fruit. Strawberries are good.
okay.
Berry season's coming up. Doesn't Michigan have like a big cherry thing?
No, that's Traverse City, I think.
No, but it was like, but I'm trying to remember. See, now I'm associating it literally with like the Starbucks mug I got from Michigan had cherries on it. So I'm assuming that that's something.
I think that's like a Traverse City thing.
Okay.
So I've eaten with Holly. Okay. So I've eaten with Holly and I remember the times that we've eaten and it wasn't like, she wasn't like, I'm going to go seek something out like I would. I'd be like, oh my gosh, we're in Kansas City. We need to go eat barbecue. She would just be like, I can have whatever.
Yeah, I guess I really like salmon. We like salmon a lot. So there's like a restaurant here that I'm like dying to go to. I mean, they have takeout right now, but they only have like their lunch menu. But on a normal like Friday or Saturday, like that's what we do. We go to, it's called Spiro's. We go to Spiro's. They have like a cute little like outdoor garden, you know, like area to sit in.
Oh,
And we get salmon.
We've been eating a lot of salmon lately, actually, because it's been the wild caught salmon has been really cheap at Costco to get a huge fillet. So that's like I feel like very unusual. Normally it's really expensive, but
that sounds awesome.
Yeah,
you can't have like you can't really get good fish here. Which is sad. Aside from like going to a restaurant, so
totally get it. Totally get it.
Yeah,
we're not a fish. Like I don't think Utah's a very fish friendly. Like people can seek out sushi, but they're not like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go seek out fish. Like they grew up.
It's not the go-to food type when you're in a landlocked state, I think.
Yeah, their go-to is a pastrami burger. You know what I mean? Like that's their go-to.
Although we have like Lake Superior it's like an hour north of here, so they have whitefish, so that's really good too when you eat it. So
yeah. Okay, so what I feel like this question's a little irrelevant because I think she's already answered it a little bit.
Well, but she could have tried the coffee. You never know.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
what Instagram fad have you tried during quarantine?
I did not try the coffee, but I wanted.
Okay, see, so she wants to. See, that's like because a lot of people are like sourdough starter and they're like naming their sourdough starter or
I don't eat bread, so I didn't make bread. I don't think I baked a single thing. I feel like all these people have more time during quarantine and I have less time. So like I don't look on Instagram very much and I feel like I'm like out of touch with everything because I just haven't had time to like look at anything.
Yeah.
So I don't think I've tried any fads.
But you would try like the Dalgona coffee if you could.
I mean, it looked good. But you put sugar in it, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
You do, but you can do like stevia or agave or something. Yeah. So it doesn't necessarily have to be sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say I tried it. I still don't know if I've successfully done it, but it still just tastes like instant coffee foam to me. So I'm still not sold on it.
I feel like the grocery stores here are kind of like instant coffee that's actually like instant coffee. I feel like it's probably hard to get here. Our grocery stores don't have a lot of like different things.
Well, and I still think like most people are using just kind of like coffee crystals, like just some sort of instant coffee. They're like, yeah, no, just use whatever. But it's, I don't know, it's still instant coffee. It's going to taste like
instant coffee.
Yeah.
Gross.
I didn't like it.
Yeah.
I've tried it twice now and I'm like,
I was really excited. The coffee shop here was like my favorite coffee shop opened again, I think last week or maybe 2 weeks ago. So I'm excited to get coffee.
Yeah.
So that will bring up to our next question. What non-essential services are you going to run to when everything is open again?
Yeah, so I mean, I feel like some non-essential things, well, I mean, I think restaurants are considered essential here, sort of like for takeout, they've been open. But I really can't wait to go to Spiro's, the restaurant I was talking about earlier,
Mm-hmm.
have dinner at some point. I think they are probably opening back up again
Mm-hmm.
soon, like on Friday, but I don't think we'll go right away.
Yeah.
It's been good. But I really want to get a haircut. So
Yeah. So I got my haircut just yesterday.
Our salons are open there now?
Yeah, so our population, and I think it's hard because this is the thing that I have a hard time reconciling with. Each state, yes, they're all governed by themselves, but each population is also different. So we only have 3 million in Utah. You can't compare it to what Megan has. Megan has like over 40 million in California, you know what I mean? And so they're going to have stricter sales.
But it's going to be based by county, like California is super county wise, but it's still like, even though I don't have that many in my county, there's still a decent amount. And so they're like saying, okay, well, you have to have like this percentage of like cases. It can't go above this mark. Otherwise you can't open. And so we're still above the mark is the problem. But a lot of the rural counties are fine. They can open. It's just the metropolitan, but you're like in the Salt Lake City area, which is still where the majority of the population is. And they're already opening up stuff.
Nowhere, and our salons are closed.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I don't know when they're going to open back up again. I think they just said, like, in the last day or so that it's not going to be, because it was May 28th, I think, was like the date that the stay-at-home order goes to right now. And then I think they just said within the last day or two, like, salons are probably not going to open then. But I hope eventually they're going to do it by region, like they are with like our because Michigan, downstate Michigan, is still like, there are a lot of cases. It was really bad for a while. But up here, I mean, of course people are taking it seriously, but like there are not that many cases, and there haven't been any new cases here in weeks. So like you have to be able to open eventually.
Yeah, it sounds like they need to definitely take it to kind of a regional.
So they finally have started to take it more regional. With this last one on Monday. So we'll see if they continue to do that, and maybe we'll be able to open soon. But yeah, salon, and I just want to go back to the gym. That would be nice too.
I find myself missing the gym, which is weird.
I mean, CrossFit's a very like community-based thing. So like I really miss my people.
Yeah.
But,
So we noticed your affinity for estate sale and vintage goods. What has been your favorite find? And a follow-up question would be, what was the item that you were like, oh crap, I should go back and get that? But then when you went back, you were like,
wasn't there.
It's gone. It was the one that got away.
I don't know. Honestly, I used to do a lot of that. And I feel like, again, I just don't, I feel like all of the things that I used to love to do, I just don't have time for anymore. But we got like we just repainted a dresser that we got like, I don't know, 7 years ago. And we finally finished it last weekend. And it's like really cute now. Like it sat in our basement for like 7 years. But I'm pretty excited about that. So
that's pretty thrilling though. Like that's a big deal. That I found a mid-century dresser that I rescued from this very, very bizarre antique store here, and they're chalk painters. They really like their chalk paint, and they'll like put something up on their Facebook and say, what color do you think it should be? And you're like, oh dear God, please don't paint that. And I feel like it's almost like a rescue. Like you have to go down there and rescue the piece. And so I did that with a mid-century dresser, and my husband refinished it for me, and it's lovely. I didn't miss the matching buffet though. I didn't see when they posted what color should we paint this, because now it's shades of yellow and teal with the distressed edges. It's very sad.
That is sad. I do have a lot of like furniture, like dresser pieces that are like, I love them all. I'm not sure I could like pick one specific.
Have you found like I feel like the holy grail of vintage items for furniture wise is like the card catalog. Like everybody wants it.
Okay, so actually, here at the store.
Mhm.
I feel like I should like move the screen to it,
Go
but
ahead.
okay.
I know we're like, yeah,
Kind of take us.
This is weird because I have my computer, but this cabinet
Mhm.
is like a McCall pattern.
Wow.
And we put our patterns in it because the drawers are like the perfect size. And I found it in like, I think I was at Quilt Market in St. Louis, which is a drive from here. But my sister-in-law lives there, so we ended up driving so that we could, because we were thinking maybe we could find some stuff there for the shop.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, we ended up finding that cabinet because I was like, I really need a place to put patterns. It just happened to be at like a vintage store there. So
I think that's a pretty good find. Yeah.
Find.
That is a pretty good find.
That's
Okay,
a good find.
ones that got away. I don't know. I feel like if I don't want it and need it right that day, I don't worry about it too much anymore.
No.
So
Are you binge watching anything?
In your, vast amounts of spare time.
yeah. We just watched a show, The Reckoning or something.
That sounds familiar.
It was on Netflix. I don't know. We have Netflix.
Yeah.
It was okay. It was like about like a serial killer. I like dark shows like that.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know.
I like those dark shows too.
Yeah.
Now, have you watched I haven't watched The Reckoning, but have you watched like the thrilling or chilling adventures of Sabrina, the Teenage Witch? I would highly recommend that one.
Yeah.
Because it's definitely like a dark telling of Sabrina, and the girl who plays Sabrina is just the cutest thing ever. So I would suggest that show.
Netflix.
That's on Netflix, and it's like the perfect mix of campy with like dark. So
Holly,
I would recommend it.
Do you like watching horror shows?
No.
Oh.
More like dark, like yeah, I don't know, crime, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, this one's a little bit more like, not like scary jump scare drama, but I don't know. You might want to try it out.
When it's creepy, but not like scary.
It's like creepy Riverdale in that sense. Well, and I haven't even watched all of Riverdale. I've only seen a part of it, but it has like, it's in the same, the same comic type inspiration there. So there's going to be a little bit of campy with it, which is just, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a fun show. That's
like, lately it's like, if I don't have a lot of free time, but then when I get home, it's like, I just want to like sit on the couch and do nothing.
I totally just laid down. I just that's all. And I can.
The views I give Amy when we're talking is the shop or the headboard of her bed. The two views.
Yeah. Nothing wrong.
Okay, no. So we play this, and we play this. Shag, marry, kill.
Oh yeah.
Shag, marry, kill, a cookie, cake, or pie.
But I don't know if she's eating sugar.
She's not eating sugar. So let's just say that
we still make cookies with like coconut sugar or something. You don't need sugar really. So cookies are marry.
Okay. Who are you killing?
Cake, probably. Not a cake.
I said there's been a lot of cake murder on this show, I will say.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
And so you would shag pie.
Yeah, I like pie sometimes.
Yeah. Well, and that's,
yeah.
Pie would just be a sometimes thing. And that's okay.
Okay, and then for our last question, and this is always fun, for folks that are watching on the YouTube, we dive deep into the guests' Instagram, and we asked them to explain this gram, and Megan did a really excellent job at the previous grams.
I have a couple, and one is like a personal one because I'm like, oh, tell me about this, because I want to see if it's the same thing, but
and we will try to do better for the folks that are listening to the podcast. We'll try to do better
at describing it.
Describing the picture.
Okay, let's see if I can. There we go. So let's look at this little number right here.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
This is in college. I think it was like, I don't know if it was just an 80s party or it was like Halloween. I don't remember.
But with all kids' instruments.
Yeah, I mean, I think we were Gem and the Holograms.
I was going to say it looks like Gem and the Holograms.
Yeah. So I have no idea where we got the instruments from, but
That's
So
truly
Holly,
outrageous.
that was like outside of one of the bars we used to go to. It was fun.
Yeah,
It
Holly's
was like
with
all my college roommates.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them.
And they're all dressed like they're going to an 80s party.
Yeah, well, and like we have the couple pink wigs. Yours is like a very, very red.
Yeah, and then my
And
friend
then-
Kira, she like spray painted her wig purple.
It
So,
almost looks like a mullet
now.
wig.
Oh, I think she cut it that way.
Oh, okay. Okay. And we definitely have like the leggings under the jean skirts.
yeah. That's awesome. I had no idea I posted that on Instagram.
It was back there. And I have one more because this is just funny. I'm curious to see if it's similar to a recipe that my family made, which is these little numbers here.
Oh yeah, it's like, what is that?
So we used to call these chow mein cookies, right?
Yeah, they're like chow mein noodles with like, I think you just melt butterscotch chips.
Butterscotch chips and chocolate chips and with peanuts.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, we don't put peanuts in them, but yes, you can.
That's so, because I see these and I was like, oh my gosh, this is like a flashback to my childhood right now. Is these weird little like chocolate, some people call them chocolate haystacks.
Yeah, haystacks. That's what we call them.
But
they're so ugly, but they're really good.
yeah, I mean that's the thing. It's like it's kind of
It
like it looks like you combined a bird nest with a pile of poo.
pretty much.
But it's a good cookie. But I will say this is not one that I actually duplicate now in my adult
It's funny
life.
that I found that Instagrammable back then.
Yeah. Well, hey, again,
2011. Yeah.
Yeah, that's we were Instagramming all sorts of things with
Yeah,
all sorts of filters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Exactly. So that concludes our show. Thanks for being on the podcast / YouTube video.
And taking a break from the day of probably cutting orders.
I didn't get any orders today.
Oh yeah. And leaving the right ones in the box outside.
I didn't cut any orders today, so I didn't mess me up.
Awesome.